quick tell us the story about your company and what you're presenting today?
Yes, thank you. I'm from Duelund Coherent Audio. We're a company based on the ideas by Sten Duelund that were primarily created in the 1970s. What we brought here is actually the genesis of the company, the original Duelund horn, which made him famous in Denmark in the 70s by a series of articles. And he made a lot of research back then into materials, dielectricas, ways of conducting electricity and the like, that we have sort of been producing since the early 2000s. And I brought quite a bit of stuff here. What makes us rather special is that we tend to avoid plastic whenever we can. So what we have here is cable that has no plastic, but instead is made with cotton and oil as the dielectric. It's actually something that was made by Western Electric back in the day that we're making for our distributors and clients now. And also what you see here is we have a whole line. I don't know if you want to just follow here, that we have a whole line of products now that is within this philosophy, where we try to, for example, create plugs for RCA duties that has no plastic in it again. And it's of course something that's very time consuming, but something we feel and our clients feel remains very worthwhile in this pursuit of sonic excellence that we're all doing in this crazy hobby. Yeah, that's sort of what I have on the, to sum it up.
Could you tell us briefly about I see some electrical components here. Yeah. What's special about them?
Normally today, or what you have been doing since the 70s or 60s, is that plastic was invented. So you started doing much smaller components, which were very cheap to make and were typically coming from Asia. And this would, in normal use, something where you say, okay, I need a capacitor for a refrigerator, I need it for my TV, be much more cost effective, be much better, be much more durable. But sadly for someone like us, who like high-end audio, they tend to sound a lot worse, and they're certainly not made to sound good, they're just made to function and be cheap. So, for example, our capacitors are made by pure metal foil, paper, wax, oil, which allows us to focus a lot more on resonance control, magnetics, conductivity and the like. And all in all, at least if you ask me, sound a whole lot better than if we do something standard that comes out of China. And since this is a niche production, it's something we can do locally in Denmark with Danish suppliers, Danish workers, and even if we need something outside of Denmark, it's still within the European region. So it's also something that's very local and something where we can maintain a very high quality with everything we do.
And who would buy such products?
Well, typically you would have two types of buyers for this. Either you have a manufacturer of typically very high-end audio, someone like Griffin Audio in Denmark, Vitas Audio, Peak Consult are great examples. And then you have the enthusiast who has perhaps bought tube amplifier, wants to change its coupling capacitors. You have guys who buys or builds loudspeakers, someone like that. So of course there's a very enthusiastic slant to this. No one is going to come to me and say, you know what, I really need silver capacitors in my refrigerator because my eggs just taste better. But, you know, that's the wonderful world we exist in.
You also told me that if somebody have a special request, you can make it.
Yes, we can make pretty much everything, and that's a lot of our businesses that people could theoretically, and they also do, call me and say, you know, we have this crazy project, we need 2 pieces. And I will say, okay, I can make 2 pieces as long as you sort of pay me for the minimum expenditure I have on it. And that's obviously something I tell myself that Panasonic wouldn't be willing to do if you called them. So yeah, that's a big part of our business.